Hey friends, hope you're doing well. I'm up here in the mountains today and it's getting ready to rain, but I wanted to come on today and talk about storytelling. It's such an essential part of writing a good memoir. And it's also just a great skill to have. You know, we need stories in our lives, and we make sense of ourselves and our lives through story. And, you know, I see there's three components to telling a good story. And the one is desire, two is struggle, and the three is realization. And I'll kind of dive deeper into those here. You know, desire is sort of the rocket fuel of a good story. You know, I often see manuscripts that have, are technically well done, and the scenes read like a novel, and yet there's something missing. And what I'll find often is that desire is missing. We don't know what the narrator, the main character, we don't know what you want. And if we don't know what you want, then we have no way to know if you get what you want at the end of a chapter, for example. And it also just moves us through, the story. It's very connected to action. With desire, we move through the world and create action. And action can come in a couple of forms as well. There's action in the physical world, lifting up a cup, hiking, fighting your way through a jungle forest. There's that kind of action. And there's a lot more subtle action too. But then there's also emotional or inner action. And inner action I think of as desire or craving. And so when we infuse our narrative writing, our personal narrative writing with a sense of desire and craving, then we get to see you moving and through different phases of the story, and we find out at the end if you get it. So that's desire. The next thing is struggle. Of course, that was connected to desire. So with desire, we see you struggling to go for what you want. What is it you want, and what do you have to do to get there? That's just great fuel for your story. And then the third thing is a realization. And so when we get to the other side of the story, we then reflect back on a lesson we learned. What are the realizations? What did we learn from moving through that struggle with so much desire? And the realization then becomes, the theme of your story, the theme of your book eventually. And, and another thing is that as you come to a realization, we then can carry that forward to the next story. So we now have a new state of consciousness, if you will. You've got a new way of seeing yourself in the world, and then you carry that with you through the next struggle. You're a different person, and we see you struggling maybe in different ways, but we still see you moving through with a new desire to go through the struggle of living until we get to the other side of that. And then we have a realization again, which we then carry forward into the next section or chapter. And so that's how we build coherence in our storytelling. And it's also, how we keep causality as an important factor in your book. We need causality. We need to see consequences. You did something and you had to face the consequences. Something happened. Was it something that left you less well off, that left you with a new struggle, but you had to pay the consequences, and then you had to figure out the next phase of your life. And of course the consequences don't need to be negative. Sometimes we get what we want and we start to build more momentum in our lives. So anyway, I'll pause there. This is a short video, but I wanted to come on and talk about these three parts of storytelling: desire, struggle, and realization. And I think if you can keep those up in your mind while you're telling your story, you'll write better stories, and better stories lead to a better memoir. All right. Hope you have a great day.